Hey, what's up, everyone? So, this is going to be another Mandela effect related video, which is what my channel is mainly dedicated to. That's what the channel was created for. All the way back since by the way, the background of this video, I put kind of like, I thought a portal and rabbit hole, and I just thought, well, I'm going to do a circle, and then I'm going to keep doing a circle and circle, and then it becomes a cross in the middle, emanating out from that cross as the light of this world. So, all the way back since I first did my first video about Cracker Jacks and the Berenstain Bears, I actually never made. Ironically, that was one of the first Mandela effects for me. And I can remember as a child where I talked in school about the Berenstain Bears and I seen their books. And then I can remember being in Granny's room, my granny's room. Now I'll get to another one in a moment where, regarding Chick-fil-A. Here's the cat again. She knows when I'm making videos. She likes to play peekaboo. Boo! Hey, Kit. Anyway, back to the topic. Hey, kitty. She's been a lot friendlier this week. But all the way back when I was in Granny's room watching the Berenstain Bears on TV. And I can remember hearing the song going, the Berenstain Bears, and I could feel something weird, something strange. Like a literal shift had just happened while I was watching the show with Granny. Now, at that time, I had no idea. I did not know what it was. By the way, keep me in your prayers again as well. I've got a fever right now. I don't know why. I know I don't sound like it, but I took a little bit of an neuro energy drink, so hoping that it would help me be able to get some things done that I needed to do. But man, I'm random. But that's what this channel's dedicated to, the Mandela effect. That's what it originally was about. And many other things here and there, my journey in spirituality and awakening and all of that, and various other things strange things happening in the world around us. Speaking of which, a huge fireball just happened over the sky, as bright as the moon over in Ontario, Canada, just a little while ago that was talked about. So, when I was in Granny's room as a child, I sat there and thought, this feels weird. It feels very strange. And I can still see the Berenstain Bears, Berenstain, whatever you want to title it. I can still see that EIN on those books. And the books in school, they had all of these books, and I hated reading, but yet I would read astronomy and science magazines and just space and anything to do with physics. I would just read it as a child, and I knew that was me. I was related. I had this connection, this oneness. I was one with the universe, and the universe was one with me. Everything was one with me, and I was one with it. It was a connection beyond anything I could even begin to explain in a video. There are no words for comparison of the way I felt as a child, of that oneness with everything. But as I got older, then that sort of, that due to school and everything, and the negativity of teachers and school and society and the darkness of this world and the problems, it just, the 3D realm, it just brought me down and disconnected me a bit from that, but I still have it in me, still had it my entire life. Where I'm going from here, I don't know. I don't know what I'll do in life. Got to do something, because this is not going to last forever, but things aren't looking so good necessarily. But I'm not going into all that for this video. But the thing is, I felt oneness with everything. And I can remember feeling that oneness and actually being able to look up into the sky, and I could see stars in full. Some of the meteors, I could see craters. I could see beyond. I could even see, when I would look into water, I could see the molecular structure of things as if I were looking under a microscope, as if I was looking into a microscope at these objects. At the water. And it's something indescribable. But my first Mandela effect, I guess, was actually two: the Berenstain Bears and Chick-fil-A. Here's two specific memories I can remember listening and watching the Berenstain Bears. It was an episode about allowance, and and my granny was giving me some change to do some things in her room because the episode was about allowance. So she said she was going to give me some change to do some things, some money of hers to do some things in her room, and it was really sweet. But and I remember hearing Berenstain Bears, Berenstain Bears. I could hear it flip flop and shift. And ever since then, it had been the Berenstain Bears. But I never thought anything about it since then. Then in 2013, 14, 15, I seen it and went, man, never mind about the parallel universe thing and then alternate realities. But yet I wrote articles about alternate realities. I wrote Everything Will Be Different, including You and I. I was going through something of an awakening since 2012 that I cannot even begin to put into words. I was one with everything, everything was one with me. But the pain, the anxiety, the suffering that I went through during those times before I was able to talk on this channel was tremendous. It was such a pain that I did not want to be in the world I was in anymore because of what I was going through, and people wouldn't understand. Doctors would not understand. No one would understand. They've sent me through tests, all kinds of tests, medical tests due to the pains I was going through. Back then I had Cover Kids Under 10 care, so it was able to cover everything with just a $5 copay. They don't even do that now. That stopped after I was 18. But now practically you might as well say there's no medical care for anything needed for any of us really. But I went through so much, and it was during the awakening times, and I looked up all the symptoms that I went through and found Our Pathway to Truth. And now that website doesn't exist, either in this reality or the government removed it. I don't know which. Something removed it. And upon further investigation, I found out that I was going through awakening symptoms. The tingling, the aches, the side pains, the body pains, the feeling of loneliness and just being isolated and feeling like something greater was happening, but there was nothing you could do about it. There was something greater, but there was no way to convey what was going on. There was no way to convey what was happening. And you just didn't know, but you knew something beyond you was happening. And then I met these random people saying, just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait. We're going home. We're awakening. All this shifting. And all those symptoms matched me. And I found some things about blessing of food with energy that helped me out with my side pains as well that I was going through, because I went through a lot. Still do, but really a lot during the awakening times. But I'll get to the Chick-fil-A Mandela effect as well in a bit. But my personal Mandela effect journey, and some of the first ones, that's what this video is about. And this individual in Walmart, he came to me all of a sudden and just turned around. He said a prayer with me in the name of Jesus. He said, "You're a believer in Christ, right?" And I said, "Yeah." He asked me that 3 times. I said, "Yes." I said, "Yes." He said, "Good, good." And he said, "That's good." And he prayed with me. And I said, "Would you pray with me?" He said, "Yeah." He asked me if I minded if he prayed with me. And then I asked him, "Would you?" He said, "Yeah." And then he said a prayer. And his hand was it was like his hand was the hand of a giant. Like he was a giant holding my hand. And he told me, just wait a little while, that this whole awakening, and I look up New Age a lot, the New Age is happening, and he was talking about the New Age is here, it's coming, and that I'm special, that he said, you're bright. He told me I was bright. I had a bright white energy around me, that's what he stated. He said I had a bright white energy, but also an aura of a lot of trauma. He said I looked like a car wreck victim. Someone that had gone through a car wreck. That's what he told me. And I've had other people tell me that my aura was so bright that I looked like someone that was holding a lot of trauma. And back then I really was. And I would run into other people that were going through things that they felt like they wanted to go home. They didn't belong here. They said they didn't belong on earth. And I always felt a connection that I was out there. But I love my family. I love my parents. I love my mama. But that's not like, oh, I just want to. I know when I go through that darkness, it's beyond what I can even convey. That it's like, it's not me. I'm not me anymore. That negative energy, that negative, it's not myself, not my normal personality. That negativity, that negative chemistry. It's like chemicals that change. But another Mandela effect that I went through was Chick-fil-A, one of my first ones, because I have a memory of childhood, from my childhood, when we went on a trip to Chick-fil-A. The class in elementary school, and I've shared this before, but if you're new to the channel, you might be new to hearing this. And I went to this Chick-fil-A. We went to this local Chick-fil-A, and I ordered their fries, their Chex fries, whatever they have, and a chicken sandwich. I was like, okay, I'll do a chicken sandwich. And I asked the cashier, why is Chick-fil-A spelled without a K? And she said, oh, it's just a play on words, and smiled. It's just a play on words. And it looked like, and there was a joke people made, it's chic filet. A sheik goes into Chick-fil-A and orders a sandwich. Chic filet. It was a joke people made back in 2003, 2004. So when I was in there, and I asked again at the table, why, I was like, okay, and I said, why is it spelled like this? On the wrapper of the fries, it said Chick-fil-A with just a C. Interestingly enough, some people come from a reality where they detailedly remember, or maybe something caused us to, I don't know, but they remember just a K. Like what's written with the cows, eat more chicken, with just a K. But I remember specifically, vividly, just a C. And that's one of the perplexing things about this phenomenon, is that people remember things differently, but yet are affected somewhat by the same changes. So here's the thing. Mama and I, she took me over there, and we went over there and met up after school. It was this place where some of the parents had a local gathering. They had a gathering. Mama took me over there, and that's the question that I asked. I asked the cashier, and I asked one of the parents, why do they have just a C? And she said, honey, just eat your food. It's just a play on words. Eat your food. So I ate my food, part of it, and took the rest with me. And it was just a memory that I'll never forget, asking why there was no K in Chick-fil-A. And now there always has been. All the way back to the olden days. All the way back to the old days. All the way back when. There's, all the way back then when they first started, they have a K. But I can still vividly see it that way. There was a few YouTubers who talked about having an employee name tag that still says Chick-fil-A with just a C. I don't know how things like that remain. I don't know how residue remains. I have no idea, unless it just kind of shifts over in some sort of situations like that. I don't know. It doesn't really make sense fully. No one can really fully explain how this is happening. But I know that I always knew that the new age is coming, the new world, where I felt a connection with things beyond what I could ever explain. Maybe the Lord will show us what's happening. I don't know, but I just know that I know we're not all experiencing this phenomenon for nothing. And it didn't bring us all together for nothing. And I know that God is not the author of confusion. So something's going on here, without a doubt. But that's some of my earliest Mandela effect memories. Things actually changed back and forth on me as a child before I ever knew about this phenomenon. I was wondering, I thought so-and-so had always been that way, or been this way, or no, it's always been that way. And I'm wondering how often this had happened before we knew about this phenomenon, because it's obviously been going on for a very long time, but it really took off after 2015, but particularly 2012. But I've had people tell me, just wait, And that person in Walmart walked off into the tire department and just disappeared. I never seen them again. I actually shared online about it and got no responses back when topics existed. And someone just said, utilize your gifts and things. And then this other boy said he felt like he didn't. He wanted to go home, and he didn't. He wasn't in the right body. He didn't belong here. He was like a soul in this body that he's in the wrong place. He doesn't belong here. He wants to go home, and he would eat. He would get red face like I do, and he would. It was like listening to me. And I've had situations where someone, a child, was like, I know him, so many times. Children, babies, I know him. They just look at me and just know me, or it's like also someone that I went to school with in elementary school. Suddenly I seen them at Dollar General, and they're just now probably 10 or 11 years old. They're just now growing up in the reality around us. I can't find them in my yearbook either. And he said, I know him. I know that guy. And I told Mama, I know him. And he looked like a child out of the past, out of the 90s and early 2000s. And it was just seeing someone that you grew up with as a friend in elementary school just now growing up in this reality it's strange. And deja vu situations where you go by this vehicle, and we stopped at the Pilot Travel Center. There was a vehicle right next to us that everything in it, that situation had happened before. We pulled up there, that situation, and then me saying that, I've seen that vehicle before, and I've seen everything in it that way. Whoa, I've said this before. Oh my goodness, everything that was happening at this moment, the people walking by had already happened. And me saying that was also deja vu, so it was like deja vu of deja vu. And I can't count the number of times I've been in stores, and they stated, it's always been that way. When I've walked in Walmart in one town over, or not a town over, actually it's 20 miles from here, or 15 miles, I guess, 15 to 20 miles. Suddenly, there's no spot on the left that has electric carts. There's no area. Used to, they'd have a claw machine in areas that they plug up the carts. It's not there now. And I asked the guy, didn't they used to have? And he said, no, that's always been over there on the other side. I went, never mind. It wasn't in the other town either. I mean, they've both changed, and yet it's always been that way. They've also added some kind of facial recognition system in the Walmarts. They've added this strange 360-degree, these poles that have a 360-degree camera. And they claim, here's the weird thing, they claimed they've got these, these things that you have that open the door, when you go into this area, and these things will open and close, and it says stop or go, and it's got in and out. Well, they've got these where the gates kind of close in the entrance of Walmart, and I found that to be weird that they've installed that, and they said, oh, it's just to tell people where to go. And something's up with that. It's like facial recognition, and maybe also something that's going to keep you in there and won't allow you to leave or something. I don't know, that's the way I viewed it, but some kind of something that is up with that. It's got in and out on there, and facial recognition in the thing. But anyway, my first Mandela effects, those were two, the Berenstain Bears and Chick-fil-A. My first video was about Cracker Jacks. Then I started talking with Almadia and Always Thinking, and those were two individuals that followed me, I think, when I had 20 subscribers. And this phenomenon it's something beyond what, it's more than just, this is happening. It's part of the Great Awakening. It's part of the awakening. And so many people just write it off and ignore it, or just, I don't know what I'll do in life. I don't know what I'll do as a job, as an occupation, as I don't know what I'll do to make money, I'll have to find my path. But until we get where we're going. But this didn't happen for nothing. And anyway, these are some of my Mandela effects that I wanted to talk about. Quantum shifting is a better name for it, really. quantum shifts. I'm not feeling too well. I've got to go for a moment. I guess I've talked myself out of breath, but may the Lord bless us. Peace. Much love. I hope to speak with all of you again very soon. My links are below if you'd like to show your love and support for me and my channel and all of us. So thank you all so much. Peace, everyone.